Welcome back to Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy and we're going to get straight into our explosive penny stock watch list. So before I cover all of our stocks, I do want to mention that when you are playing with the OTC market, patience is extremely important. The reason why I say that is because OTC stocks can be extremely explosive. They can go up 100, 200% in a day. However, they can also go down just as much through a longer period of time. And so the reason why I'm saying that is because the OTC markets have been taking a beating for a while. And one thing that I want to remind everyone is when you have a great company, regardless of what exchange it trades on, you just have to be patient, because in the short term, the stock market can be extremely irrational and you could start seeing moves that you would not expect for such great companies. And so some of the companies that we're covering are getting absolutely battered, and that is not to their fault. That is just how the OTC market works. You can't just have something going up. And so if you are someone who has done the due diligence on these companies like I have, then you wouldn't be as nervous as I've seen some people in the comments about certain positions. I want to reassure you guys that I am still in it with y'all, so don't get scared when the price goes down consistently every day. It's just part of how the OTC market goes. You just have to be patient, because in the OTC market, a lot of millionaires can be made because of how volatile the movements are. So with that being said, we're going to start off here with Humble on the daily time frame, down about 3% today, and we are getting to a point where it is starting to look a little bit dangerous here on Humble, and I'm going to let you guys know why. We had two scenarios that were playing out on Humble, and one of the scenarios was we were either going to break above our 50 SMA. If we broke above our 50 SMA, that would look highly likely that we were going to curl up, and then that would have put a bottom here on Humble. However, the second scenario was a scenario that we didn't want, and that was our 50 SMA crossing down our 200. So when this happens, this is signified by a death cross. That means that when this happens, you should expect a longer term downtrend. And so that doesn't mean that the stock's just going to keep going down. It means that in the next couple of weeks, you are going to get some great buying opportunities to buy Humble, and then it will eventually reverse course once you start getting some good catalysts out there. We know with Humble, we have a great company. It's just a waiting game now. We are just going to wait for Brian Foote to keep doing what he's doing. Brian Foote is getting inquiries from people who write articles for Forbes. So this is still a very hot company. Analysts on TV that were covering Humble were saying that this is $1 trillion market share possibility for Humble that only trades at $1 billion. And so I've been saying from the beginning that I can see Humble trading at $20 billion at some point in time. People don't believe me, or people think that's crazy and outlandish because of their share structure, but you got to understand that this is a startup company. This is a startup company that is trying to conquer the digital economy that has still yet to come to fruition. We're seeing what's happening with crypto. As crypto crashes, people are going to fear the idea of the digital economy, and that is in no fault to Humble. That is just how the investment space works. Sometimes you have extreme euphoria and sometimes you have extreme fear. Right now we have extreme fear in crypto, and by nature, we are going to have some fear in Humble. And so those of you who are in this like myself, I am going to use the next couple of weeks as very nice opportunities to actually load up and anchor my position here in Humble. Do I believe it will get lower than this low that we saw at 70 cents? I don't think so. I do think we will get back to that level, potentially get a nice little double bottom here, but I do think that would be the bottom. I can't see this going any lower than that. If the market sells off like completely and we see a 20 to 25% correction in the overall markets, then yes, we could see Humble go a bit lower. But again, I think that is on an extreme level of fear. And right now, I don't think that is what we need here in Humble. So those of you guys who are concerned about this company, don't be. Use these times to load up. Right now, Humble is still in a downtrend. Like I've mentioned in previous videos, until we break past this level of resistance, we are still technically in a downtrend. Next stock of the day, we're looking at WDLF on the daily time frame. So WDLF has been down every single day. I look at the stock every morning, check my phone, WDLF down 10%. Next day, down 10%. The next day, down 10%. And I can't just help but laugh because I know I'm going to be holding this stock. I have no fear. I have no real concern holding this stock. I'm down about 50% on my position now, but that's all right because when you have a gem, you got to understand the OTC markets. Some of you who have been watching my videos and got into some of these stocks not knowing how the OTC environment is, it may be tough on your mental, but I am here to let you know, be sane. You know, and you've heard the CEO himself say the company intrinsically is worth 2.1 billion, and this doesn't even trade at 100 million. So there's tons of upside here. And so any weakness in share price is a buying opportunity. We are well below all of our SMAs now. And so we are getting to very attractive valuations. Yes, I didn't think this was going to get this low. However, if we just look at our pennant, we are still in it and we could potentially even go lower. When we look at our SMAs, this right here was extremely bearish. We got rejected by our 200-day SMA and we continue to go down. There are a couple things that I want to mention why I believe WDLF could be going down. First one is dilution. Anytime a company dilutes, you are going to get some sellers. The second reason is because we know that the MJ Link IPO is going to happen sometime in the near future. What that means is that is going to be a definitive catalyst that this company is going to have. But those market makers and those who manipulate the share price also know that that is going to be a couple months from now. So they are able to bring the price down, load up their positions, and then at a point you're going to see a massive run up. And so the way I like to explain this is, let's say I am a hedge fund, I have $200 million. I'm gonna use 50 million of those to buy up some stock, and I'm going to sell chunks at a time. Sell chunks, sell chunks, sell chunks. So people and traders who are watching the bid and ask are going to see these large sells. What is eventually gonna happen is when people start seeing these large sells, other people join them and they also start selling. So then you start getting a huge amount of selling, share price goes down. And then what happens is with that 150 million that I have remaining of the 200, I buy up the stock at the bottom and then ride it up when you know the catalysts are going to come. So the beauty with the stock is you know the catalysts are eventually going to come. It's not like one of those companies where you need to wonder, oh, is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? You know it's going to happen, but you just don't know when. And so when stocks have that type of layout, that is a market maker's dream because they are able to manipulate it because there's no real hurry to buy up the shares. Everybody knows that this company is worth 2.1 billion, but there is no hurry to buy it. So people manipulate, scare the weak hands, and then they gobble up the cheap shares, build out a very nice position, and then they capitalize on the run up. It's a pretty simple game if you actually think about it, which is why I don't get nervous even when I'm down on this stock. And so overall, if you are worried about WDLF, don't be, because I'm also down 50% on this, but I am not worried at all. I still have very nice price targets for this stock. The first one is going to get to 7 cents, and then the second one is at around 10 cents. And you can pin this if you want to. This is going to happen. You just have to be patient because I can't tell you when it's going to happen, but it eventually will happen. And so that is just what I wanted to say because WDLF has just been going down, down, down. Another stock that can't get out of its rut is IGEN here on the daily time frame, only down about 1% today. And so I have mapped out this little descending pattern that we have, could be signified as a flag right here. And so we have steadily been trading in this flag. We actually had very nice volume today. And if you look at the volume, we actually had more accumulation than we actually had selling. And so what this means is IGEN is further along on that process of market manipulation. What that means is a stock like WDLF is more susceptible to market manipulation, whereas IGEN is getting closer to the point where market makers can't manipulate it as much as they want to, because at certain points, buyers step in and then they buy up the shares. And we've been seeing that at levels between 0075 and 008. Anytime the price gets to that level, there are enough buyers out there that that will just snag up the shares. And so when I look at that with IGEN, it is looking very nice in my opinion. And so if you are ever just concerned about a position, just look at the accumulation. IGEN is one of my biggest positions, if not the biggest position I have. And you can see the accumulation has just been steadily going up while the share price has been going down. Clear manipulation, our volume has also been increasing. And so the increase in volume is actually extremely bullish in my opinion. We've seen a lot of low volume for a very long time, but it now seems like people are actually starting to get attention on IGEN. Maybe there's something cooking up in the back. Maybe market makers or somebody knows something and is trying to sell you out of your shares so they can buy cheaper ones because they know something is cooking. And for those of us who have done our due diligence, we do know something is cooking. This is a patent approved company trading at only $10 million. And so overall, accumulation has been steady on this one, even on days where the price has been down. So overall, IGEN had a pretty solid day in my opinion. We had very nice volume, very nice accumulation. The next move for IGEN is to get the price action above this 50 SMA. The worst case scenario right now is if we break below this 0075. If that happens, then it does look like IGEN will go a little bit lower before it starts to go up. This is the strongest level of support. You can see we tested as support here, and it also is setting a higher low at this point. So if we break down, it will no longer be setting that higher low, and it will break down this entire uptrend that we've had here since this point in time right here in October. And so overall, I do expect us to get a nice little rebound here tomorrow. This does look like a nice reversal candle. We'll see, however, if this goes up tomorrow. It does seem like that might be the play, but we want to see the price above our 50 SMA if we want to get any sort of excitement, because we want this to cross back over. If this crosses back over, I think we will officially start our next move up. Next stock of the day, we're looking at HITI. I know HITI is technically not a penny stock anymore because it did its share split, and so for that reason I was not covering it, but then I realized it's technically still a penny stock because the price hasn't really changed. And so if we're looking at the analysis right now, today we actually broke past our 50 SMA, so this is extremely bullish. You can see from this point in time we've had very nice accumulation on this stock. This is going to be a very strong company for the future. So right now, time is just your enemy. You just have to be patient with these companies. When they're this bullish, just sit back, relax, enjoy your day, maybe go out, get some sun, get some exercise. Don't worry too much about these because one day they will be very nice and your bank account will look extremely, extremely beautiful, and you will be extremely thankful that you held through all of these stagnant times. And so for just looking at it, a lot of green candles here, very nice price action right now. We want to break past this level of resistance, and then ultimately we want to break past this level of resistance. If we can break past this $11.95 level of resistance, I do believe HITI will be ready to make its next move up. You can see we've had very strong support here on this $8.86 level. So let's see if we can bring this back up in the next couple days. We've just been getting really great news out of HITI. Very excited to see where this one goes tomorrow. Next stock of the day, looking at MJNA, down 3% today. We got a pretty tough day. You can see the last little while we've just been seeing a lot of red here on MJNA. We got a crossover of our MACD, so this is extremely bearish. This is something that you don't want to see. When you see the MACD crossover, it's starting to come up, but it crosses down in the negative territory. That means that the price action is going to keep going down in the short term. And so with MJNA, I do think that is going to continue. You could see you have a lot of distribution right now on the stock. Nobody's coming in to buy it. So MJNA still looks like it is in a very strong downtrend. Next stock of the day, we're looking at AOYI on the daily time frame. So another strong day, up 20%. And it is trading pretty picturesque in my opinion. When we had this explosion to the upside, I told y'all to wait for the back test on the 50 SMA. We got a back test right here. We continue to go up, and then this right here was our last back test. This was a strong back test right here. We could see the accumulation starting to go up, and that would have been the buy signal right here on ALYI. And so right now we are back on track above our 50 SMA. It looks like we are not going to cross down our 200, and so that looks extremely bullish. Our accumulation is starting to rising. Our accumulation is starting to rise, so that looks very nice here on ALYI. Next stock of the day, we're looking at HYSR on the daily time frame. So Sun Hydrogen down 4%. and I expect the same trend to continue because we got rejected right here by our 50 SMA. We got our death cross, so it does not look good right now for HYSR. That's all I can really say. Next stock of the day, we're looking at RDGL. So RDGL is up almost 20% today. Very strong day. This is one of my favorite picks as well here on our penny stock watch list. You can see from this bottom right here, we've had steady accumulation. We have a very strong product here at Vivos Inc. with their ISO-PET as well as their radio gel. And so their ISO-PET is already FDA approved to be used on animals. They're currently now using it on horses. And our radio gel is what we want to get FDA approved so we could start using it on humans. And so that is why we are so big. Just look at all the green that we have seen in RDGL. People are accumulating. You can see everything is starting to flatline, and I do expect RDGL to curl up. As soon as this 50 crosses over to the upside of this 100, I do believe RDGL will be ready to continue to move up. Next stock of the day, we're looking at ACDC on the daily time frame. So ACDC was down about 3.45%, closed today below our 50 SMA. So in the short term, that is a little bit tough. But just a reminder to everybody who is in ACDC, this is a long-term play, has real contracts. So you shouldn't really be concerned about the day-to-day swings. Any opportunity that you can get ACDC below 25 cents, in my opinion, should be a very easy steal. You already know that there are people that bought this and have warrants that can only be exercised when this gets to $1 and $1.50, and so it's trading at 28 cents. So you can 3x your money just by the time these guys are even able to sell their warrants. So ACDC at this point in time is a clear buy, and for the long term it should be in the portfolio. Next stock of the day, we're looking at STAF on the daily time frame, up 2% today, and it is still struggling to get past the 50 SMA. So we've had our death cross on this a long time ago, and so just for reference, when this happens, you can see you're just in a longer term downtrend. And now we need the price action to get above our 50. So we had to get above here, but we could not hold. So we want to see it get back up. We want to get the back test, and that would be our sign. Our accumulation is going up, which is a great sign. And you can see our MACD needs to curl back up if we want to see this go even higher. Overall, STAF is a good play for the reopening, but until everything is reopening and people are starting to go back to work, STAF is going to have some problems. Last but not least, we're looking at SNDL here on the daily time frame. So SNDL down 2%. I'm not surprised with this one at all. We've had a lot of distribution. Nobody is really accumulating this stock. We have found some support right on our 50 SMAs. So we'll see what this one wants to do tomorrow. You could see we had a MACD crossover to the downside on our positive territory. So if we can kind of get a couple green days, that would curl our MACD up, and that would actually look extremely bullish. However, if we break down, then our MACD will get into the negative territory, and it does look like SNDL will go even lower. And so if you guys enjoyed this update on our explosive penny stock watch list, don't forget to like. We are on the road to 10K subs, so if you made it to this point, feel free to hit that subscription button. This is Dummy Boy Finance. I'm Dummy Boy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.